Ahoy friends!
Ahoy everybody!
Welcome to another episode of Diary of a Procrastinator.
In this episode, we're going to be doing something that we were a little bit terrified to do.
We are going on a 10-day silent meditation retreat.
You have to remain in absolute silence for 10 days. No talking, no making eye contact with anybody. What you're allowed to do is eat, sleep when they say you're allowed to sleep. You're allowed to meditate. You're definitely allowed to do that.
It's called Vipassana and it's all over the world. In the book 10% Happier, Dan Harris goes to a silent meditation retreat, which is why I first wanted to do one. So I signed myself and then Joe up. What a nice wife.
And it actually starts today in about 4 hours or something like that.
And you can't kill anything, so no mosquitoes will be harmed by us in the next 10 days.
No animals will be harmed in the making of this video. Obviously, during it, we can't use any cameras or electronics, so there won't be any footage from that. But we'll tell you how it went after. Let's do it. Now that the meditation retreat has ended, you guys probably have some questions. I know we did going into it, but first, what the heck is Vipassana meditation?
Why would we subject ourselves to 10 days of sometimes torture for no reason? There has to be a reason, right?
That's right. So generally, Vipassana meditation is actually a technique you are taught in order to eventually live a happier and healthier lifestyle with less misery and suffering.
Vipassana talks about seeing things as they are in the truth, not what you want them to be. It helps with craving things like food, with aversion to things for me was like ticking clocks or being cold.
Yeah, so it's really about developing an awareness of the present moment and finding a balance in your mind. So not having it at really high highs or lows. It's really just finding a nice equal balance.
Perfect equanimity, as they say,
Yes.
repeatedly. In case you are wondering, this is not a specific religious technique. From all over the world, people have learned this technique to help them live a better life, regardless of if they belong to an organized religion.
Something else we want to take you guys through is the actual facility that we stayed at. Where we stayed was a beautiful, secluded facility in the mountains in Kulim in Malaysia. So it had a great view, it was very private, you're kind of in nature, which we loved. But the facility, of course, it's run by donations, so it's rather basic.
I was in a 9-bed dorm, so one room with just curtains in between. I thought maybe this would be an issue for me, sleeping with other people, but it was of no bother at all.
Mine was actually a room. There was 3 beds in it with some curtains, so I shared a room with 2 other guys.
The men and women were always separated, so we slept separately, we ate separately, and then in the meditation hall, the women were on one side and the men were on the other side. I, from my seat, could see Joe out of my periphery, so in the first couple days, I would glance over at him, but we didn't make any eye contact. In terms of silence, that was probably the easiest part though, because I am a bit chatty in my regular life. People were kind of saying to me, oh, you might find that hard, but that wasn't the hard part at all.
And I'm naturally a bit of an introvert sometimes, so I really didn't mind the silence. I actually kind of liked it.
You would think that no books, no music, no reading, no writing, no jogging or yoga, like any
no
type
texting,
of... Yeah.
No scrolling Instagram.
Yeah, obviously no electronics, no cameras. How could I survive doing this? But if you have the right mindset that you're going here to try and improve your life and you're willing to put in the hard work and dedication, it's just part of it.
And the purpose is that you're supposed to look inwards. So you're going to be with your thoughts and with your own experiences throughout and just observing what's happening internally.
For me, having a bad car accident 14 years ago, something I didn't factor going into the course was the intense physical pain of sitting on the floor for more than 10 hours a day.
10 hours a day?
Because if I had any sort of technology or something, I would have called my mom because of all this pain. But as Joe had mentioned, it's really just looking inward and having that silence so that you can work on yourself and have a lasting benefit in the future.
So the alarm bell or gong would go off at 4 a.m. every day.
Like this. Dong, dong.
And it wouldn't just do this like once or twice or 3 times. It would go like that for about 5 minutes. So at 4 a.m., if you're thinking I'll just sleep through that, it just keeps going.
The first morning meditation is from 4:30 to 6:30.
So at the end of that, 6:30, the gong would go again, and that was my favorite time of day, which was breakfast.
There are servers that are also volunteers because everyone who works at these centers are all volunteers. They would give us the breakfast, and then we would have a break till 8 a.m.
8 a.m. until 9, there's a group sitting meditation. So this was mandatory in the hall that you would sit for 1 hour meditation.
9 to 11 was another optional in the room or in the hall, which brought you to 11 a.m. lunch.
So you get a little bit of a break after lunch. Same thing, I would sometimes just nap. 1 o'clock till 2:30, meditation in the hall or in your room again.
2:30 to 3:30 is another mandatory hour.
And after that, there is another 1.5 hours of meditation in the hall or in your room, which takes you until 5 o'clock, which is tea break.
Tea break, no dinner.
6 p.m. to 7 p.m. was another mandatory group meditation in the hall.
7 o'clock to 8:15 is, they call it a discourse, but it's like the lesson or the teaching of the day.
And then after the teachings, 8:30 to 9, there was a short meditation.
Which seemed actually so short, half an hour. Prior to this, Joe and I couldn't even make it 20 minutes. 20 minutes was too long for us. But obviously, after you've done it so many times, that half an hour seems really short.
And at 9, if you had any questions for the teacher, you could ask them. Otherwise, you were dismissed to go to your quarters, and it was bedtime. Lights out by 10 p.m. So you might have noticed a common theme with this schedule. One is that you're either sleeping, you're either eating, or meditating. Those are pretty much the only 3 things that you're doing the whole time.
You can walk.
You can walk. There was a few other things that you could do. Of course, you could shower, brush your teeth, you can walk around the grounds, wash your clothes, but essentially your day revolved around those 3 things.
You might also notice that if you add up all the hours of meditation, that is 10.5 hours of meditation a day. Something I'd like to point out that people who don't know that much about meditation might think that meditation means you're sitting there and you have no thoughts ever. We can both say that's not what our experience was. It's not like we're masters now and don't have any thoughts, but we're just sitting there. It's just learning techniques that you can help with all the thoughts that are going on in your head.
Yeah, I think I replayed full movies in my mind. I even made alternate endings. I was playing video games sometimes in my mind. Like, just random things would happen in your brain when you're sitting for that long. So how do we feel after this? What effect did it have on us? One of the things we realized from doing this 10-day meditation is that continued practice is really where you'll see the benefit. So just doing anything for 10 days really isn't going to make you an expert at it. Working out for 10 days isn't going to make you fit. Same with this. It's like a 10-day boot camp for your brain. Some of the immediate results would be that just a general sense of calm. I feel like a bit of weight has been lifted off. I used to spend a lot of time thinking about the future and the past and all that stuff. So it's a good technique. Sometimes when I catch myself doing that, I can just kind of bring myself back.
I used to get annoyed pretty easily at little things, and I've just been able to kind of be calm more in situations and let things go. So just an overall more feeling of calm.
If this is something that you want to challenge yourself to take on, we would highly, highly recommend it. But just prepare your mind to be open to new concepts.
not only open, but be prepared to do the work. You can't expect to reap the benefits if you don't put in the effort and put in the work. If we can do it, you can definitely do it.
Just realize it's 10 days out of your life. I understand that, you might have to use a vacation for it, and it is really hard. It is not a vacation, but it's time put into your mental health, and I think that's really important.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any specific questions, you can ask below, or on our Instagram is probably the best.
Yeah, remember to subscribe if you like these videos. That helps us to keep on creating more videos for you guys.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Peace.
Welcome back.